Hey, it's payday. Let's go spend all my husband's money with me. We're a single income family, and my husband got his paycheck of $1,968.61 for 2 weeks. So let's go spend it. Starting off, we still owe about $600 on our mortgage, so gonna pay that off, followed by a Costco run, which we're estimating about $475 there. We'll do our monthly church donation of $400, followed by our electric bill of $182. Next up, we got our groceries of $100, and we have some car maintenance. My husband needs some things on his truck, which is $150. Last but not least, I'm guessing we're gonna spend about $60 on gas. That leaves the remaining $1.61 left over, so not a whole lot, but we should have a check coming in the next
Payday. I'm a 29-year-old project manager, and today I took home $2,624.92. If I could influence you to do one thing with your money, it's keep a month's worth of expenses in your checking account so you can start budgeting a month ahead. This lets you stop worrying about what bills are due in the next 2 weeks. You don't need to set aside half your rent or car payment every paycheck, and you can start seeing the bigger picture of your finances instead of always being zoomed in waiting for the next payday. Since I keep extra in my checking account, I want to still be earning interest on that money, which is why I use the SoFi high yield savings account as my checking account. Every payday, I look at my pay stub and track my paycheck deductions. This is super important since I'm trying to max out all of my retirement accounts. $482.09 was taken out for my 401k, $146 for my HSA, and $95 for my employee stock program, which puts me at 96% of my investment goal, and here's a breakdown of those numbers. I use a monthly zero-based budget to track all of my spending, and I always build a plan for my income and expenses for the entire year. I've been tracking everything I spend for the last 6.5 years, and has made me so confident and knowledgeable about my finances. Even when I slip up and spend more than I wanted to, I'm not scared to log my transactions because I know exactly what the damage is and how to fix it. Feeling shame does not help anything, so I find it's 1000% better to own the mistake, understand why it happened, and make a plan to improve your habits in the future.
Friends, so I am going to be doing my payday routine with you. I get paid semi-monthly on the 7th and the 22nd of each month. Today is not the 22nd, so I obviously got paid early, which is fantastic. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I got paid. I got paid from both my jobs and how I'm going to use my money. So from my day job, I am a human resources director at a medical facility. I got paid $1,666.69. And then I also work part-time at Ulta, and I made $65.82. And so that was a total of $1,732.51. And I had about like $16 left over from my last Ulta paycheck from last week. So I have a total of $1,749.06 to use towards bills. So how that will be broken down is $500 for rent, $173 to go towards a minimum payment for one of my credit cards, $65 for the gym, $200 for groceries and gas for 2 weeks, $55 to the dentist because I got my wisdom teeth pulled and I had some other work done, and so I pay $55 a paycheck until I don't anymore, I guess. And then my husband usually pays daycare, but he is starting a new position, and so his pay cycle's kind of messed up. So I am paying the $310 for daycare. And then I do take semaglutide, and it's pretty expensive. And I did just get my new dose for the month, but I know I'm not going to have enough money on my next check. So I'm going to save $225 for my medication for next month. And that leaves $221.06. And I'm not sure how I'm going to spend that money. I might just use it and just like take my son to the mall and do like family outings. I might put some of it towards some of my other credit cards because I am trying to be more aggressive with paying off my debt. And then I also could use some of it for my birthday trip that is coming up. And I could also use it for Pilates, but I normally pay Pilates at the end of the month, but I don't think I'm going to be able to continue to go just because of like the change of my husband's schedule. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to pay for next month's class or not, classes, I guess. So it's kind of up in the air. So I have $221.06 to kind of figure out, but that's what I have left over for the next couple weeks until I get paid again. But if you guys have any questions or how I figure out how to budget or how to use it, let me know. And I'll see you guys on the 7th or whenever I get paid next.
It's payday today, so let's budget my $5,400 paycheck. I'm 36 years old working as a nurse. I start with the paycheck period where I enter the date I receive my income. Now to the budget, I start my budget by entering my income amount, then I jump to bills where I enter my rent and utility. After that, I move to expenses where I set aside a budget for groceries, eating out, shopping, and most importantly, my dog, as I love to treat him monthly with his favorite snacks and toys. Then we move to savings where I set a budget for my down payment. Lastly, in the debt category, I have some credit card debt that I need to clear fast, so I set a budget for it. I still have some money left over. Since I really need to finish my credit card debt, I add it to the budget. Now we have a perfect zero-based budget. If you're interested in this template, comment the word budget and I'll send you.
Friends, it's payday. I started off with a negative balance and ended with a negative balance. So join me in this chaotic payday routine as a 29-year-old living in LA. This week I was paid from my second job as an apartment overnight concierge and my third job as an apartment leasing agent. After taxes, my total take-home pay ended up being $537.45. However, I did go overboard because my birthday was last week. So I started off with a negative balance. So in reality, I have $498.68 to work with this week. And what I didn't do as soon as I got paid was open up my budget spreadsheet to see what I have due this week. So you're going to end up seeing that I'm going to be over balance again. So this time I'm splitting my expenses a little differently. So in this section, these are the 3 items that definitely needed to get paid this week, no matter what. That includes my personal trainer, my gym membership, and then the afterpay payment for some birthday stuff I bought. However, I jumped the gun and I could have waited on paying that electric bill, and I could have postponed my auto pay for the car insurance because now I'm left with negative $21.05. So I'm transferring $100 from my emergency fund, and then my balance for the week that I have for food and gas will be $78.95. So it may not look like it, but financially, I feel like I'm in a really great spot because I've been able to tackle my bills, but also take care of myself health-wise and mental-wise, including getting the personal trainer, a gym membership, fixing a lot of my dental issues. And I had a dental appointment yesterday, and the doctor and hygienist are super impressed in all the work that I've been doing in the past year. So that kind of sums up this week and this year in general when it comes to finances, and I'm just excited to keep going and tackling a lot more of my debt. Thank you for joining me. Bye.
Hi friends, welcome back to another payday routine. Today I'm going to do my skincare while we break down my paycheck. So let's go. Okay, so I washed my face in the shower. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I washed my face in the shower. So we're going to start with toner. This is the Bioma Hydrating Milky Toner. And then to start off, so after my paycheck from Ulta and my day job and whatever like couple bucks were left in my bank account, I had a total of $2,258 in my bank account to spend on bills and everything else that I had. The first main expense is $590 for my car payment. So I pay that every month. I have a 2021 RAV4. I did like 0 down, so it's kind of a high car payment, but it is what it is. I need a car. And then the next highest one is, they're kind of very close to each other, is my insurance. So it's the insurance for my car, my renter's insurance, and then also my like liability insurance. So it's like our technology and stuff that we want to have in the building or in the house. What am I talking about? Next, I'm going to put this eye lift serum. I don't know what it does, but I got it, so we're going to use it. And then next is my credit card. This was for my Wells Fargo credit card. I paid $269 on that card. I pay so much every month on credit cards. It is insane. And then after that, I have to pay the IRS $200 a month because I accidentally committed tax fraud. So having to pay them back. Don't do that, kids. It's not fun. I have a small zit on the side of my nose and I started picking at it. So ignore that. The next step we're going to do is my Coco Kind Electrolyte Water Cream. I'm still deciding if I like this or not. I'm kind of in the middle. But the next thing is I budget $200 for groceries and gas for 2 weeks. So $100 for groceries and $100 for gas for 2 weeks. So it's not a lot, but it is what I need. The next one is a payment that gets taken out of my bank account is $55 to the dentist. I got all of my wisdom teeth removed and some like other work done about a year ago, so I'm slowly paying that off. So that's really fun. And then my husband has been like, he was working part-time and now he's going full-time, and so he was like in between pay periods, and he owed someone his credit card, so I gave him $200 to kind of pay his bills, do what he needed. So that left me with $481 to spend. And how I'm spending it is $220 is on my weight loss medication. I take semaglutide, which is like a GLP-1, is that what it's called? And then I also am getting my hair done this week, so that's gonna be about $110 with tip. So left over, I have $151. So that's going towards, spending, eating out, anything like that. So that is what it is. I make a little over 50 grand a year. I make $26 an hour. I work a full 40 hours a week. I also work about 10 hours a week at Ulta, not really a ton. But that was my payday routine. So if you guys have any questions or want to see more about just my Ulta paychecks or anything like that, let me know, and I will see you guys next time.
Let's budget my paycheck. I'm a pharmacy intern. Last week I made $2,165, but I took home $1,528.21. The tax kills me every time. I'm actually gonna start getting ready for bed during this video, even though it's light out. Out of $1,528.21, $554 went towards my savings, $267 went towards my credit card, $67 went towards my student loans. This paycheck is not going towards my rent. The next one is. Now let's break down what I spent between my last paycheck and this one. Alright, what do we have? Oh, this is so not updated. That's okay. I can do another video saying what I spent this month. Spent $10 at Ulta. I think I bought some razors or something. Spent $104 at Athleta. I'm putting the headband on because my hair is overstimulating me right now and I just can't. $78 spent on Amazon. This was for a good cause. It was Father's Day. Let's keep in mind. I bought my dad a Ring camera and a solar panel to go with it. I spent $48 on food this month, the month isn't over. And it looks like the last thing I have on my list is $26 on gas. I feel like besides the $104 at Athleta, I did good, I think. So that leaves me with $640.21 from this paycheck. This is honestly a lot better than last paycheck, so.
I budget my paycheck as a 29-year-old who's married and has no kids yet. Current financial goal is to pay off my car in the next 3 months and then save as much as I can for a house. My income for this pay period was $1,791 and I had $72.53 carry over. First thing I'll do is set aside $400 for my rent. Then I put $100 into my emergency fund and $200 into our house saving fund. Then I also put $150 into our grocery account. Then I take a look at any subscriptions that are coming out during the next 2 weeks, and I have a few that total up to $43.90. I'm also budgeting $30 for my cats because I'll need to buy cat litter. I put $50 towards my credit card, and then at this point I kind of see where I'm at and figure out how much I can put towards my car loan, and this paycheck it was $575. And the last thing I budget for is gas, so I'm setting aside $65 for the next 2 weeks. If you add all of that up, it comes to $1,613, and that leaves me with about $250 left to spend for the next 2 weeks.
My checking account is negative $190. Don't know what happened, but I do get paid in 2 days, so I'm trying to figure out what we did wrong last pay period and what we can do better this pay period. Got my iPad, got my notebook, so we got to figure something out. But I will say the biggest change is that I increased my retirement contribution Previously, it was 6%. I did up it to 10%, and that was a big chunk of change that I just wasn't accounting for. And it was the first iteration of it actually changing that amount, so I didn't even know what that amount was going to be. So now I know how to tailor my budget a little bit more because of that significant change. I am also salaried, so my checks are always the same amount. So we started off with $2,860.02. Okay, so I just totaled everything up. I have $20.58 on subscriptions like DoorDash and Instacart. I went to the dentist. My copay was $50. Groceries was $42.33, probably because I already went grocery shopping prior to me getting paid. Amazon, I have a total of $71.41. The things from Amazon are like normally household items or things I just need around the house. Transportation is including parking, Ubers, Lyft, and Powers, as well as my half of my car note. So my car note is $200, and then $36.07 is parking and Ubers. Next, we have my credit card bill. $750 went to Discover, $100 went to my Credit One credit card, and then $49.82 went to Afterpay, giving me a total of $899.82. Next category is food delivery, which was $111.91, which I don't think is that bad. It kind of evens out my grocery bill because that was only $42, and then I bought something on Etsy for $22.59. Then we have rent, which was $1,659.95. That is half of my rent plus about $200 in utilities. So now that I'm breaking everything down, I really didn't do that bad. What I want to say is like paying off my credit card. So once I do that, I feel like I'll have more wiggle room to do a little bit more. But not too bad, especially $71 at Amazon. Not horrible. $100 in food delivery, not horrible. So I think
Paycheck together as a 29-year-old who's married with no kids yet and is a healthcare worker. So I realized that I kind of stopped posting about my personal finances, and I don't know why, so we're getting back to it. This is my second to last paycheck being part-time. My income was $1,768, and I had a whopping $25.60 carryover from my last paycheck, which means I have $1,794 to budget with. This was also a weird month because it was a 3-paycheck month, so I saved $150 to put towards our rent. I put $50 into my emergency fund and $150 into our house saving fund. I also put $125 into our grocery account, and I saved about $200 for our phone bill. I will also budget $195 for our car insurance, and this is for me and my husband. Then I'll budget $277 for my gym membership, which I know is very expensive, but I absolutely love the classes. And I have a few subscriptions coming out the next 2 weeks, and that comes to $37.32. I also set aside $65 for the cats, $85 for my nail appointment, and then I did put $150 towards my credit card, paid that off because I did have to buy some new scrubs for my new job. Lastly, I'll budget $65 for gas for the next 2 weeks. If you add all of that up, it comes to $1,550, which means I have $244 left to spend.
Budget my paycheck while I get ready. I'm a pharmacy intern, and last week I made $730.18. I did experience a very heavy deduction from my paycheck. It was around like 25%, which is honestly so sad. This was also a bit of a lighter check because I only worked 40 hours on this check. Since I'm living at home for my internship and I'm not living in my apartment, I actually have to pay part of my rent. The $420 went to that. And I've been making it a goal to pay some of my interest on my student loans this summer. $117 went towards that. Literally already have $1,000 in interest, but I really should have made it a point to pay some of it while I was in school, but I just didn't. I'm trying to be good with my spending this summer because I feel like last summer, that was crazy. That can never happen again. I feel like by paying off some of my interest and having to pay some of my rent this summer, it'll really help me keep track of my spending. So, and then I actually moved $554 from my checkings to my savings, which basically leaves me with $0 from this paycheck. If not, negative $360.82. I'm definitely going to get a bigger check next time because, again, this was only 40 hours. I feel like this is going to help me, though, because I seriously cannot be spending money like I did last summer. again. Hopefully my next paycheck will be better and there will be more to budget out of that, and maybe I'll even have money left over.
Take a look at my finances and my bills as an 18-year-old. Now, every month I get 2 paychecks of $700 bi-weekly, so that brings me to $1,400 a month. So my car payment is about $270 per month. My car insurance is about $170 per month. I do have a payment plan with Shop where I have to pay $155 every 2 weeks. So per month, that is about $310. $100 of my paycheck goes to my emergency savings, and that's per month. $140 or $70 per 2 weeks goes into my Roth IRA account that I have with Fidelity. And if you don't know what a Roth IRA account is and you are over the age of 18, please open a Roth IRA account. Basically just means it is a retirement account where you can withdraw your money when you are of age, and it is tax-free. So $60 does get taken out of my paycheck, goes immediately towards my Fidelity account, which goes towards VOO or VTI. VTI is the Vanguard Total Stock Market, and the VOO is the S&P 500. So basically S&P 500 is a stock where it is all the top 500 companies. Both of those stocks are going to be low cost index funds, but they do differ slightly in what they invest in. Now also $250 of that paycheck does go towards my credit card spending. I have about 2 credit cards right now. I have the Chase Freedom Unlimited card and also a Discover Chrome It card, I believe. It is a secure credit card. It was the first credit card that I opened to help me build credit. Now that does leave me with $100 as like a buffer. That can go towards any miscellaneous purchases or anything like that, maybe any unexpected bills that $100 can go towards as well. But pretty much my rule of thumbs for my paychecks is I always keep $750 at least in my Chase checking account for my car and my insurance, and also my shop bill as well. I do also have automatic investing, so I get recurring transfers of $70 per paycheck to my Roth IRA account, as I explained earlier, and also $30 a paycheck to my brokerage investment account, which is $60 per month. Also, I do save about $50 per paycheck, and I put that into my Discover savings account. But I also just spend responsibly. I use about $250 or less between my 2 Discover and my Chase Freedom Unlimited card, and I track and pay off my credit cards in full, either every week or bi-weekly. I always like to do my payments before paid in full, before the due date, so it can boost my credit. If you're curious on how to basically earn financial freedom and financial independence, go ahead and read The Psychology of Money. It's a book I do recommend. I'm almost done with it, and it has taught me basically how to have my money work for me, and basically that every single dollar is, just think of it like a soldier. You're in control of every single dollar, and have at least 4 accounts open, whether that be a checkings account where most of your money goes into for your bills, payments, just anything like that. Have a Roth IRA account for sure. Have a brokerage account, whether that be with Robinhood, and you can do Charles Schwab, you can do Fidelity, and you can do Vanguard as well. I personally went with Fidelity. And last but not least, the 4th account that you should have should be a high yield saving account. Normal savings accounts have about 0.1 to 0.2 interest, versus a high yield savings account, like I said earlier, goes from 5 to 7%, and that basically just means you're earning money over time. As you let your money sit in that savings account, the more money you have in your savings account, the more the interest will be as well. So it's a win-win situation. Just budget your money responsibly, have it in your savings account, save your money properly as well, and your money will work for you.